what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. And today we have a special guest, and her name is Cassie, who is an office manager at a construction company. Thanks for coming to the show, Cassie. How are you doing today?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm doing great. A little nervous, but I'm great.
Yeah, well, I think we're all getting nervous. I still get nervous doing this as well, too. Sorry about the weather. Can't control that. Kind of not a good day out there today.
Weather's nice. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's a good weather. Just stay home and chill and relax.
Yeah, be on the couch watching the rain.
Yeah, but it kind of sucks. It has to be a Labor Day weekend where it's kind of rainy. I know everybody had plans to go do something, whatever.
Yeah. Personally, I had a long weekend, so it's okay.
Yeah. So pretty much the reason why you're here is because the guest manager, I guess, Sandy, I got that right that time. She told me that you were open to coming in and talk about yourself and what you do and stuff. So that's what I want. Who is Cassie?
So my name is Cassandra, but I prefer to go by Cassie. I am an office manager for a construction company, but I'm also a wife and a mom and a student and I hope a good friend.
Oh, yeah? You hope? Hopefully. Well, I call it. So where are you going to school right now?
I'm going to Lamar. I'm studying business.
Lamar LIT or Lamar University?
Lamar University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm studying business administration, specifically in entrepreneurship.
Oh, no. Okay. How's that going?
It's a battle. School is great, but when you have school and work and kids and a full schedule, it can be complicated sometimes.
It's a big challenge right there, but
yeah.
I know one of my friends told me when I first talking to him about me going back to school for engineering, he told me, well, and I know it's going to take a lot of time, and he said, well, think about this, time will always pass. And that's true. I always think about that, so might as well start it when you want. But how's the challenge right there with being married and having a kid and going back and forth to school and work? That's a big challenge right there because when I was going to school, I was, sometimes I had 2 jobs or whatever, so I had to go back and forth. And I had son, but only had him every other weekend. But you actually have your children with you all the time.
All the time, yep. I would say probably the biggest challenge is, well, everybody always needs something. Something always needs to be done, and there's just never enough time. But luckily, I have a good support system. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people that I have that I can rely on that will help me out. Yeah. And be there when I need somebody to be there for my kids, or be there when I need somebody to help me so that I can focus on school. Mm-hmm. And I feel like work has taught me a lot of discipline in completing things and focusing on one thing at a time. And that has helped me a lot too. So other than that though, I feel like one of the hardest things for me to learn was that there's never balance. Yeah. Yes. That's a whole conversation.
I think there's a new generation of people want that, just life, work, and balance. So you're not gonna get that.
I remember when I first started going back to school, I struggled a lot because I was a new mom and a new marriage, and finally decided to go back to school. And there was never enough time. I felt like I could never do my homework, or I could never focus on my kids,
mm-hmm.
And we did this interview with some lady. She owns her own company. She does great things, but I had asked, like, how do you balance everything? How are you so successful and still have a life outside of that? And she was just like, there is no balance. People will tell you that there's a way to balance everything. You can manage everything, but everything is give or take, and there's not really a balance. That's like a false concept, I guess.
Yeah. And
I guess her telling me that, or her confidence in that, I guess, made me feel like, okay, I'm not doing everything wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm doing well. I'm still being a good mom. I'm still there for my family and for my friends, and I'm still able to complete the things that I want to do, and I'm still able to be a good employee and, put everything together, I guess.
Yeah. And I've seen your daughters, beautiful daughters you have there. They're like different age gap as well too, right? So is that a challenge as well?
Oh, yes. So I have 3 kids.
3 kids, okay. Yes. I just seen 2 over here, so I thought it was just 2.
Yeah, the one's at home. She's getting ready for a dance today, so she's excited. But I have a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 3-year-old. So talk about age gaps.
Yeah, exactly. This is the last one.
Yes, and my 2 oldest, they're from my marriage, and my youngest, she was my first child.
Already.
Yeah, so kind of jumping into motherhood when I got married, that was a task in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But raising a child from birth is a whole different concept in itself, because like I feel like when I first became a mother, I was not. It's life changing.
Yeah, you're never ready for it, you know.
No, I was. I went through a bit of a tough time. I went through a little bit of depression, and I was just tired all the time.
Yeah, I heard about that, like postpartum depression, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because of you missing being pregnant or what it is, you know.
No, I think for me it was because I was always tired and still trying to work full time and be a good employee and be a good wife, and I was putting more pressure on myself than what I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Like my husband had to consistently reassure me that you're doing good. You're a good mom.
Yeah.
You put so much work into everything. Like you're just hard on yourself.
Yeah, you put all that stress and weight on yourself, pretty much. Yeah, and it happens. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just have to let it roll off your back. Sometimes, I guess.
I struggled a lot with perfectionism at that point in my life. Like I felt like I had to be the perfect Christian and the perfect wife and the perfect mother and the perfect employee, and not meeting my expectations made it hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of giving myself grace for my accomplishments, my successes. And people would consistently tell me, oh no, you're doing good. My employers would tell me that, my husband would tell me that, my friends and my family would tell me that, but I didn't accept it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that I had to work on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing your husband probably helped you a lot.
Oh yes. I feel like we both helped each other a lot, but he definitely helped me become a more, like, I would say, have better mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And find grace for myself, and just he helped me out on a lot of things. I feel like I wouldn't be accomplishing some of the things that I'm accomplishing now if it wasn't for my husband.
Mm-hmm. So how does a day-to-day life look for you, like especially in the weekdays when the kids go to school? Because since you have a different age gap for all the kids, they go daycare, high school, middle school, or what's the?
We got one in daycare, one in elementary school, and one in middle school. So luckily, because they go in between our house and their mom's house,
Mm-hmm.
like there's a bit of a gap in between the week.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, we wake up in the morning. Depending on how I feel, I have to be very aware of my mental state and my level of tiredness, I guess. If I'm feeling up for it, I'll get up, I'll go work out, and I'll get ready for school, take all the kids wherever they need to go.
What time is that you have to wake up?
If I'm feeling great, I'm gonna wake up at 4:30.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna get ready, I'm gonna go to the gym, and I'm gonna come back home by 6 and try to get ready and get everybody up.
Oh, okay.
If I'm having a rough week or I'm a little tired, then I'll probably get up closer to 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then have an easy morning.
Yeah.
Get ready for the day.
Yeah, usually in the weekdays I wake up around that time, 4:30. But then the weekends when I'm not I had to work, whatever. Okay, probably 6, 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I remember there was an entire period in my life where I kept consistently hearing that if you wake up earlier, you get ahead of everybody else, and you're more likely to be successful. And although I believe that, I also feel like that doesn't apply to everybody.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you see as successful. You know what I mean? Everybody sees successful as different. You know what I mean? I mean, if a wife is at home, she's happy, she's taking care of the babies and stuff like that, and the husband is taking care of everything as well too, and the whole family as a whole is happy. So isn't that successful?
Yeah.
I believe so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's very true. Because for me, when I guess there was a period in my life where for me, like, success was like accomplishing all the things that you're supposed to, getting married, graduating college,
checking all the boxes,
yes,
pretty much.
checking all the boxes, having a baby before a certain age, and my life just kind of got changed quickly whenever I found out that I was pregnant, and it went on a different path. But looking back on it, like I feel like I did struggle, but there was never a time that I felt like I wasn't, for the most part, happy or at peace. And so once I kind of realized that and started giving myself grace, I realized, you're doing pretty good. You're pretty successful. Like you don't have to live your life the way that everybody says that you're supposed to live your life, or the way the society says that you should.
Yeah. And as the kids get older, the oldest one, I guess they could help out with the younger one as well too every once in a while. So that's a little good thing right there.
It is. They help me out a whole lot. And I appreciate them so much. Like,
well, it's good because they're kind of learning responsibility at a young age. So, like we got to do things as well too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my kids surprise me sometimes. Like I feel like at home we focus a lot on learning how to communicate. Like I feel like there's not enough people that know how to express themselves or understand themselves. So we focus a lot on, self-awareness and communication and those kinds of things in our household. And my kids just surprise me all the time at their level of communication. Like, I can remember getting into arguments with them sometimes about the state of their room or their bed or something, and they'll be like, I understand that you feel that way, but I don't have to feel that way. I feel differently about that.
Really?
And then they would express why they feel that way, and I'm just like...
Well, at least they're giving you actually construction feedback, why they feel like that. So I said, okay, I kind of could see where you're coming from,
Yeah,
okay.
Like it really put me in that self-awareness that my kids are human. They don't know, they don't think the way that I think. They think completely differently. And so having that good communication with them really helped me understand that the society in general, because people don't think the way that I think. They don't think the way you think. I might feel a certain type of way about the way that person should be driving, for example. I might feel like, no, they shouldn't be driving that way. They're supposed to be doing this. But understanding that people think differently about different things, or they're more aware of different things. Or
they're probably being busy on the phone, probably, you know what I mean? Or just not paying attention or whatever. Which is, sometimes it could happen. There have been times where I accidentally ran a red light or whatever, just because I just, for some reason, didn't see it. Luckily, nothing happened, but still, it could happen.
Yeah. So it just, I don't know, those kids really make me open up my eyes, I guess, in the way that the world actually is.
And what do you think they are so able to give you that feedback like that? You think, I don't know if they're on their phones all the time, or you guys actually talk all the time. What do you think helped?
I think what helps the most is being intentional communication about the things that are going on in their lives. Because we have a lot of, family drama, and so I feel like they have two different styles of living, and so kind of talking to them about the things that go on in their lives or their everyday lives really helps them learn how they should be communicating with other people. And in my marriage specifically, like me and my husband had to learn how to talk to each other to where we can understand each other and communicate constructively to actually get to a resolution, rather than just be mad at each other about whatever it is that we're arguing about. And so we applied that same concept to our kids. Like, they can be having a bad day at school, so we'll break it down with what happened, what could we have done differently, why did that happen, or are you going to let that continue to bother you for the rest of the day, or are you going to take this as a learning experience to apply it differently in the next situation? Small things like that, I feel like, really helped my kids. Especially part of watching how you and your husband communicate to each other, and they probably see that, I guess, you know what I mean? I still get that funny feeling when, like, I'm arguing with my husband in front of my kids or whatever, and I'm just like, we should talk about this in the bedroom, and he's just like, but they'll see our communication and how we're not, like, yelling at each other or whatever. We're just having, like, a debate. They'll see that, and they'll learn how to apply that in their communication with other people.
Because I think that's kind of helpful, because you might be able to see it one way where he's not able to see it, and you kind of, okay, this is why I'm seeing it this way. So kind of, this is why I'm pushing back a little bit, you know what I mean?
I feel like right now with our oldest, we're kind of breaking through that
So the next question I was going to ask you about is about Lamar. You go into Lamar, but when did you start?
I started in 2012, actually, when I graduated high school. I went to school because I was a teenager. I decided I was going to take a gap year, and then I got into a relationship. It ended badly, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to school. So I got in school, and at first I had my heart set on becoming an athletic trainer.
Okay.
And then when I found out that you couldn't complete the whole program at Lamar, I decided to change career paths and do accounting.
Why not? You couldn't complete the whole program. You had to go to another school, I guess?
To finish, yeah.
Really?
So you could like start at Lamar, or at least at that time. I don't know if it's changed. You could start at Lamar, and if you wanted to finish at Lamar, you could finish as like a NP or nurse practitioner or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to actually get like a full certification to be an athletic trainer, you would have to go to a different university to finish. That was accredited.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so when I found that out, I was like, well, I don't really think that's something that I want to do. Like, I don't want to have lives in my hand, but I do want to help people that are injured, you know?
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking about life or death here.
Yeah, exactly. You broke your leg? Okay, I got you.
Yeah. But I decided to change career paths and study accounting. But I knew, at that point, I knew that my heart wasn't set on accounting. Like, I just felt like I was good at it, but it didn't make me happy.
Yeah.
But it's because I was good at it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna continue down this path and keep going. And then, you know, life, and I decided to stop going because I was in a relationship that was leading towards a marriage, and I ended up getting a divorce. And after I got a divorce, I had to focus. I was forced to focus on myself and really like accept who I am. And then I met my husband, and my husband, he's just such a supportive person. He was just like, you're going to accomplish all the things that you set out to be. You're always telling me about all these things that you want to do. We're going to, you know, put some action into it. We're not going to keep talking about it. And so, you know, after a few different conversations, we finally got to the point where, okay, you can go back to school. We're in a position in our life right now where we can make this step happen. So I started going back in last year, actually. Last fall, I enrolled and went back to school. I was already halfway done.
Yeah, that's 2023, right?
So when I enrolled, I knew that I wanted to study business. I have a strong desire to do something in business. And so I decided to at first I was just doing like a general business. But, you know, the more people that I met that have businesses and working at my job and having different conversations with the people that are around me, I just realized that because I have talent in so many areas, and not like an expansive talent, I feel like I know a little bit about everything and how it's put together.
Yeah.
I was like, I would do better getting a degree in business and entrepreneurship and just kind of doing my own thing from there.
That's one thing I was going to ask you about business. Are you planning to get a business degree to go to work for somebody like full time, or eventually you're going to transition to entrepreneurship?
We have our heart set on starting a business. We know exactly what we want to get into, what we're going to call it, and we've worked out some of the details already. What
kind of industry is that?
We want to stay in furniture. So
furniture?
My husband works in furniture right now.
Like actually making them?
No.
Or like
more like home goods.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that is like I would say that dream is like something that is going to happen down the road. Like right now we're just kind of focusing on, I do have an interest in completing my business degree. I have also completed some real estate classes. I just need to take a test to actually get my license. So I'm kind of on that path where I could, if I do real estate, I'm going to do commercial real estate. I want to do those kinds of deals.
Okay.
If I get a better offer with my degree, I have an interest in doing something in business development.
Are you planning to stay around this area if you do that? Okay.
Yes, that is my ultimate goal, is to kind of stay here at least until the kids grow up, and then see what life takes.
That might be a while, huh?
Mostly the two oldest. because they stay with their mom. Their mom has custody. So once they kind of get to an age where they can make their own decisions on travel or go to university or whatever, then I feel like at that point we'd be in a point in our lives where if we wanted to go somewhere else, we could.
And how much longer do you think you have to finish your career? Your degree?
I'm supposed to be graduating hopefully in May of this year.
Oh, really? It's not that bad then if you started
Last year, yeah. I was halfway through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you got pretty much all the basics out the way and stuff.
All the basics done, and because I was doing accounting, a lot of the classes that I was taking for accounting were able to be transitioned over to my business degree, or to my business study, I guess. Because I mean, a lot of accounting already correlates with business as it is. Like, you have to know your accounting in order to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy transition, I would say, from
Yeah.
one to the other.
I mean, when I went to LIT, got my first degree, computer drafting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go back for a mechanical engineer, but most of those credits didn't transfer over. Just the basic ones like English 1, arts, whatever. That's also I pretty much had to start from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to finish up all those basic courses like English 2, English 3, geopolitics, or just all the things. Yeah, I took all of them at Lamar, Port Arthur, but it's just more cheaper.
Yeah, that's smart. I really wish I would have known that when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because I would have just stayed at LIT, did all my basics, and then transferred them over to Lamar.
Yeah. The only thing that hurt me is because those GPA didn't transfer over to Lamar University. The classes transfer over, or the credit transfer over, but the GPA didn't transfer over. So when I first went back to school, it just strictly math, chemistry, physics, all those type of classes. And I haven't seen any of that in like 10 years. So you can imagine how stressful that was. Overwhelming.
Yeah, I believe it. I feel like I've had that conversation with my husband recently, because whenever I was doing like my first couple of years, I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should have. And so my GPA is kind of low, and I'm like, I feel so bad because I'm working so hard right now and I'm trying to get all these A's to get this GPA higher, and it's like, it's small increments. And he's like, so when have you ever been in an interview and they asked you about your GPA? And I was like, you know what, that's never happened. They just ask you about your degree and whether or not you completed it and what you've studied. Yeah,
because at the end they would just want to see if you actually went through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say some companies, which they don't ask a lot of times, but they will want to see maybe your transcript.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they want to see if you have failed, just to see if you failed, but you continue to finish up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that means that you didn't give up. You know, even though you struggled, you completed your goal.
Yeah,
I think that's more important.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing as when you're looking at somebody's resume and you see like a gap in their resume. It makes you question, like, is it something that they're serious about, or is it something that, you know?
Yeah, like what happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you kind of question.
Yeah, so if you're gonna go to an interview, if you have a gap, you should have some type of answer for that. Or that I took this off because I went back to school and wanted to finish that for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I think that's something that could be answered in having that conversation with the other person. Like, what is it that they're telling me, and what is it that they're showing me? You really have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Or at least, that's one of the things that I've learned over the past couple of years, going back to school and being in the position that I'm in right now at work.
Yeah. Now going to your job right now, how did they work with your schooling? I don't know if your classes are online or you actually have to go back and forth to the campus, or how?
No, I made the decision to complete my courses online. And at first I was really scared because I was just like, I'm not going to learn anything as good as I would learn it being in front of a teacher. Like, I can ask the teacher right then and there when I have a question. I'm not going to forget it later. But doing it, like, it's actually really not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not as scary as it sounds. You can go back to school and you can do it online. And the teachers make themselves available to you. And if anything, they're more understanding. Because they understand that you have a life outside of going back to school.
Yeah.
And so what I've found is that most of the teachers are actually more accommodating in the online courses than actually going to the school.
Yeah.
So it actually ended up being a benefit.
Yeah. It's crazy to me that you have to still pay the same amount of money like you going into campus.
Well, I
Right?
found that they don't charge you everything that they would charge you if you were going to campus.
Oh, really?
You don't have to pay for the parking. You know, Lamar has that athletics area or whatever. You don't have to pay for that because you're not physically staying there.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like mandatory. You have to.
No, they do charge you like an administration fee. They charge you for the classes. There's a couple of other things that they charge you that you're like, am I really gonna need that though?
The library and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But the things that are physically on campus, like whatever they would charge you for using the cafeteria or whatever they would charge you for using the gym that's there or the pool that's there, they don't charge you for all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're not actually on campus. And I want to say, when I was going to Lamar, I had noticed that they had charged you for like maintenance of the facility or the campus or whatever. They would charge you a small fee, but I don't see that now that I'm doing
security fees, probably all kinds of fees.
So it's not, it's cheaper, but it's still expensive.
Yeah. So imagine in your role as an office manager, you have to deal with a lot of like money and time and employees. Well, it could kind of, I guess, you use that because you're running a household with your family, so that kind of correlates, right?
Yeah. I've heard it said before that if you run your household like a business, then you're not doing too bad because if you're running a successful business or if you're working in a successful business and it's being managed well, you can apply that to your home.
Yeah.
And so it is. It's refreshing, I think, working with adults and then being at home with kids or whatnot sometimes. But you can apply the same concepts we do. We can apply the same concepts that we learn from our kids with other people that we work with at work.
Mm-hmm.
And just the different personalities that are there because there's some that are strong-willed and strong personalities or whatever, and you just have to learn to accommodate that person's personality or meet them halfway, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At least.
So, final question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I hope to see myself either in a position in which I can help a company grow and develop and, connect the right people to each other and help that business grow.
Mm-hmm.
Or be doing my own business.
The furniture business, right?
No, that'll be down the road.
That'll be down the road.
I really want to do.
You guys got a name for that already? Or
We
still
do.
thinking? Oh, really?
Yes. I
don't
want to say.
Yeah, I don't want to say. Yeah, this is gonna surprise everybody. Huh?
Yeah, but we do. We have a name for it, and but before I do that, I think I'd like to if I do my own path,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do the commercial real estate first.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll start there and start kind of building up my properties or whatever and helping other people with whatever it is that they need, connecting people. And then once I kind of get that going, I intend to kind of do 3 to 5 years before I start something else because there are a couple of other things that I want to do too.
Yeah, okay. Any final thoughts that you think the viewers should know?
If you want to go back to school, you can. You should. It's not too late. It can be hard, but it can be done. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah.
Whatever they tell you about balancing everything it's more about what can you balance.
Yeah.
Like where are you in your life?
Yeah, and then also too, I think if people tell you can't do it, use that as fuel.
Yeah, to keep going.
Yeah, to keep going.
Because that's something that maybe that other person can't do.
Yeah.
But you're mentally stable enough and you're emotionally stable enough to take on something that might be hard for somebody else.
Yeah. So when somebody tells me I can't do something just because so I always see it as a challenge. Just so I could prove them wrong, pretty much.
Yeah. There is that little bit of I can do this and I'm going to prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely has to be something that you want to do.
Yeah.
I feel like there's too many people that they get into things that they don't necessarily want to do or their heart's not in it, and so they end up following a path that's not fulfilling for them. It's more challenging and it's harder on themselves than actually doing what they actually want to do.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that's it for the episode today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like, comment, subscribe, help the channel grow, and see you guys next time. Bye. Not too bad, huh? Well, what's up, guys? Today we have a special guest today. Her name is Casey and Casey.
Sorry.
Well, I'm glad you caught that though. Cassie. Why is that Casey?
I would've
But that
corrected
kept saying Casey.